Okay, as a form of disclaimer that past performance is not indicative of future results, and these videos are for educational purposes only and not to be used as a form of a guide or some form of advice. If you need to know more, please go through our website at www.esttrader.com. So let's go through about your performance then, pair. Out of 10, what would it be? Hi, Bala.
I'm gonna go with 9.
9. All right, great. And what word for you this week?
Morning, Ray. Morning, everyone.
Morning,
Morning.
Bala.
Hello.
What worked good for me is we just keep working on plans, making
I
a
see.
plan. Like 3 or 4 times this week, I made a plan that if this does this at a certain time, I'm going to jump in. I didn't hesitate, and so far, I think it's 3 trades I made that way that I planned during the day, and then it came into the 3:30 time my time, market
Mhm.
change. And I jumped in, didn't hesitate, and I'm actually doing good on all of them but one right now, and that one I'm only down 18 pips.
Okay, great. That's good. So plans. So anything else with the plans? Actually, probably.
Yeah, confident and yeah, following just everything that comes with that.
Okay.
I feel a lot more relaxed. Well, you know why with what I'm
Mhm.
doing with you on the side and everything. I'm getting a lot more confidence,
Okay.
comfortable confidence on everything.
Very good. Excellent. Good.
And
Nice.
I still made that 1 or 2 mistakes, where I didn't get up early in the morning out of bed. I looked, the reason I gave myself a 1 is I looked at my phone, but I didn't get out of bed and got on my computer and come all the way down to 15 minutes. And then that's where I left quite a few pips that one morning. That's where I'm giving myself that 1 minus.
I see. So based on what we discussed earlier in the week was about responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Good. Bala, let's go with you. How was your performance this week, Bala?
Yeah, better, little bit better than last week. Yeah,
Okay.
I entered the trade yesterday. The euro US dollar one micro got a dollar profit, and then yeah.
Okay. So,
So yeah,
and out of if you're gonna rate your performance out of 10, Bala, what would it be?
I would say 4. Yeah, I need to improve.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm slowly coming back to the track. Yeah.
All right. So let's discuss first then about what worked for you this week, Bala.
Um, the trade worked as per the plan. So the euro dollar. So following the plan, yeah, that worked. And then um, I would say this following the schedule to look at the market, to look at the market every day. So
Okay. What?
and then getting up early in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, to yeah, that's a that's a big one. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
What else?
Then try to understand the timings where the movement happens. So
Okay.
you know,
Um, anything else?
yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Um, just bear with me for 1 second. Okay. So what didn't work for you this week then, Bala?
Still, I'm doing too much detail analysis and then trying to find um, the difference between um, careful analysis and then following the plan. Not too much analysis. Yeah, analysis paralysis. Yeah.
Okay. What else, Paul?
I'm missing a lot of trades. So I mean, in the hindsight, it looks like, oh, I say, oh yeah, there was an opportunity in the previous time frame or here or there, but during the time frame, I'm not able to see them. So probably I'm trying to avoid risk, I guess. So avoiding risk and then yeah,
Avoiding which one again?
avoiding risk. Yep.
Oh, got it.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Also trying to get confirmation even before take action. Yeah. Looking for confirmation. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Paul?
Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
All right. So I'll start with you, Perry. So where do you think is the responsibility or lack of responsibility coming from? Where do you think is the cause of it, Perry?
With everything I'm doing this week, I'm starting to believe it comes from uh, maybe fear of
I'm sorry, Perry. Hello. You got cut off there, Perry. Hello, Perry. Hello. Hello, Perry. Hello, Perry. Yeah, I think we lost Perry. Bala, yeah, he got out. No problem. So
Yeah. I think you said fear of loss.
fear of losing.
Yep.
Did you?
There you are. Hello, Perry.
Yep.
I don't know what happened. I had a glitch or something.
Yeah, you just got out and yeah, the lost connection. So what did you say, Perry? Fear of what?
I think fear of success is one of my biggest problems, and I believe it comes from uh, what we discussed yesterday, where like just I put myself second because I don't want to. How would I word it? Like I just don't want to feel like I did, I guess, when I was a kid, about how people talked about my dad.
Got it.
Something in that, which puts it where I put myself second.
Okay, excellent. Good.
Does that make sense? That's about the
Yes.
best I can put it.
Very
Which
nice.
I'm working on it. It's still there, and it keeps repeating itself. So
Very good. All right. And Bala, where does the analysis paralysis come from, do you think? Where is it coming from?
Yeah. It says when I look at within myself, it says like don't want to lose anything. So fear of losing. Yeah.
Very nice. And notice how they're all connected to your, with everything that you basically state here, right? You're avoiding risk that causes the missing of opportunities to gain certainty through analysis paralysis. So by you looking for confirmation, where you're analyzing too much, you're thinking too much, the logic side happens rather than the non-analytical side, which is the intuitive process of belief, has to come into play. So there has to be a balance between the two. For example, let me put here, say this is your mind right there, and we have discussed this, where you have your conscious mind that's leading towards your subconscious mind. So if this is your eyesight, this is basically what you see right there. This is, say, your eyes. and say this is your nose. And based on the three aspects of conditioning, so what you see, what you hear, and what you feel. These three aspects of conditioning is going through your conscious mind, and it is going to be inputted into your subconscious. So there's a filter, the thing in the middle, you have a filtering system. Which creates that logic. And then through your conscious, which is basically your analytical side, your thinking side, and then it goes through your subconscious, which is your creative side, your intuitive side. So part of that filtering component that is being filtered through your conscious, what you see, hear, and feel, will be recorded in terms of your subconscious. And through here, part of your subconscious creates now your beliefs that is being recorded. And these beliefs are then being created, either limiting beliefs or being created as your supporting beliefs that will either support you as a human being, that now creates your persona, your personality, where your personality is your personal reality. So it goes in and out now basically from there. So from your beliefs or your subconscious, it will be triggered there, and then it will be portrayed, put into a different color here, into your outer world. That's why everything is just an illusion. It is a story that everything that you see, hear, or feel is a story that you create in your mind that tends to be true. And then it goes in and out basically from there. And just imagine that in terms of thoughts, you have 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts every day. That is simply the same thoughts that you think the previous day and the previous day before. So it's a conditioning. It's already a habit that we all have based on thought. So not unless you want to change your results is through changing your thoughts. But the question is, what are those thoughts? Well, those thoughts will be positive and negative thoughts. And here, everything is simply about the fear of success, fear of losing. And it's a narrative you keep creating to yourself over and over again, like a vicious cycle. And hence it will be, it's a self-sabotaging mechanism over and over without even you realizing. And that's the machine. That's what's causing us humans, like a robot, being programmed to create what we want to create basically in a three-dimensional physical plane reality world. It's so interesting. So the question is now, where does this fear of success or fear of losing coming from? This is where it is imperative actually to know. Um, oops, where's my thing? Where is it coming from? This is where the self reflection through meditation will come into place. It's a very important process because that thought or that fear is coming from a belief system, and that belief system has been recorded since birth, perhaps even before birth in certain cultures like Buddhism and Hinduism, for example, based on reincarnation, certain beliefs.
I mean, karma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bingo. That is already been implanted within you even before birth. And you're bringing that in this lifetime. And if you're not going to learn this in this lifetime, you're going to bring that in your next lifetime. That's why in Hinduism and Buddhism, you have multiple lifetimes, which makes sense for me because it is also, the spiritual world versus basically the reality world. And the question is, where is that spirit going after the host basically dies? So the spirit will keep coming back, and that spirit or that light, that form of energy, is simply all those thoughts that's also being created within you, that's creating your own reality. So it is important to find that fear, because that fear of losing is not happening. It's not just happening with trading. It's also happening in terms of risk. Maybe perhaps from a certain lifetime, you've been programmed not to take risks. You've been programmed to live a life of perfectionism, to live a life of certainty. But there's no such thing. It is false hope. That fear is a false hope for you to believe that certainty exists. There's no such thing as certainty. There's no such thing as uncertainty either. It is what it is within that moment in time. If you are practicing mindfulness, everything you experience right now, you're sitting down, you're laying down, you're listening to me, you're looking at your computer screen. That's your reality at this point. If you're not putting thoughts into place with no judgment or no criticism, you're just there sitting with nothing. Basically, everything is nothingness. So everything in terms of what we create has meaning. We just put meaning into words. We put meaning into people's actions. We put meaning into what we see. We put meaning in what we hear. We put meaning in what we feel. So, but if you put meaning out of it and you're just seeing things the way they are, hearing things the way they are, feeling things the way they are, then it's neutral. But the question is, why do we create narratives or stories based on what we see, hear, or feel? Because in its purest form, we are love, we are responsible, we are neutral, we are abundant in terms of finding opportunities is basically abundance. However, yes, to trade, on the other hand, it is the acceptance that losing is part of the game. Remember, this is just a game. Life is just a game. It's just a matter of the way how you play your own game. So if you play a game of certainty and security, then find something that will give you that game in terms of certainty and security. Um, Otherwise, you just stay at home and don't drive, don't go anywhere, and don't take risks, don't have fun. That's the bottom line. But you're here to experience what is the purpose of life, to experience things, to find happiness. According to Dalai Lama, that the purpose of life is about happiness, is to find happiness. But in my own opinion, it's our right to be happy at the very beginning through childbirth. if we have that right about happy, about love, about kind and responsibility, and that's our pure state, then we suppress our righteous freedom in terms of love, kind, happiness, responsibility through these three aspects of conditioning that limits our right of being confident, being kind, being loving, being generous, being opportunistic, being courageous. So, based on the suppressions of those limiting beliefs, what you see here and feel makes you as a prisoner. You're no longer a free bird that's being free to live the life that you want to live. Does that make sense? That's simply put, that's the way how I see it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
know there is one more question I have. So like, just wanted to understand the difference between the analysis paralysis and due diligence.
Yes.
So I know there is a small thin line between these two, but trying to identify where I cross that from due diligence to analysis paralysis.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Analysis paralysis is now based on subjectivity of your limitations of the beliefs of lack of courage, lack of confidence, lack of trust within oneself, where the due diligence happens through forecasting. That's why we define technical analysis as a study of price movement to forecast future price movement. Forecasting is simply finding factual evidence based on the data that's given to you, based on those numbers that give you the statistical probability where the price should go, either up, down, or sideways. It's just a probability. It's not certainty. So just imagine if every technical analyst is now giving out um, guaranteed outcome, everybody will be millionaires, right? There's no such thing. Why? Because of the
Yep.
uncertainty of events that's happening. That's a difference between analysis paralysis and being a technical analyst. When you're paralyzing, when you're no longer thinking like, oh, what if, it's mainly the thought of the what if it doesn't go my way, what if I will lose, what if it goes negative. So it's creating a false hope. In actual fact, you're already setting yourself up for failure even before you even started. That's causing anxiousness, self doubt, mainly the self doubt, that conscious anxiousness. And then through there, from regret and sitting on the sidelines, and maybe perhaps as well from a subconscious limitation of perfectionism, being afraid of losing, because if you lost, then now it means that you're now a loser, or you're no longer perfect, you're no longer right. That's what it goes through different layers of limitations of your belief system. Now, if you are in that space of courage, confidence, trust, and you are analyzing it objectively, creating the probability, then you know that there's a probability that you may lose. It is that confidence and acceptance that you may also lose that will make you press the trigger, because it's also about that responsibility of your own actions. So, in other words, if you accepted the risk and you're being honest, see, notice now the being honest, being responsible, being trustworthy, being confident, being courageous, you press the train no matter what, because you have accepted the risk. It's like so the samurai warriors, um, before they go to battle, they need to accept that dying is part of being a warrior. So if they can accept that, then you're a samurai warrior. Then you can go to battle because you can just simply accept. And hence, the kamikazes, right, in World War II were the same. They know that if they're about to lose anyway, or they're gonna die, so they give themselves and they accept that dying is part of it, and hence that's why they will just, you know, crash their own planes to the enemy. That's simply the warrior within that we also have from the inside. That's why through trading, if you accept that you've lost or losing is part of the game, then you can move forward. Other than that, if you cannot accept that losing, you cannot move forward. You will sit on the sidelines because you're not accepting that losing is part of the game, right? And that's how people will take risks. It's a calculated risk. So if you can calculate that risk and you accept that calculated risk, then there's no fear because you're honest and you're responsible that you are accepting that calculated risk to gain the reward. So it is simple, a win or lose scenario. That's why trading is a very easy game. It's a zero-sum game. Either you lose or either you win. That's it. But the question is, which part are you going to do in order for you to win? Oh, the probability. And that's why if we're looking at the euro against the US dollar, for example, currently the price is at supply. We got in at 118, 118.93, 118.98, depending on where the people get it from. But if you get it at 118, currently you're up around 26 pips. What are you going to do? You now have the reward. You're no longer at risk. The risk is now zero. So if you knew ahead of time that, okay, if I'm getting here and you got it on this side, and my risk is either 117.90 or 117.71, and the probability that will go through here is very unlikely, and the probability it's going to go up in there is more than likely. And now that you're up in there, what are you going to do? So the funny thing is, greed will come into play, since that's why people won't take the profit either. That includes myself, right? So the question is sometimes, why don't we take the profit when it's already up in there? And why are we willing to keep on hoping that it will come back up when the trade or when the price is now getting down to where our stop loss is, and we keep moving our stop loss, we keep moving our stop loss? Or if it drops, why aren't we willing to just take whatever we have and then simply close the position when we know that we're losing? So the question is now why? Why is because everything here from a conscious perspective, which we're not being aware of the lack of mindfulness, it is now being driven through the ego, no longer driven from the subconscious aspect, right? So, but in actual fact, that subconscious is still being driven by those limiting beliefs, which is now created as your ego, which is no longer being driven by your supporting beliefs, which is now your true self. So I hope I answered your question there, Bao. It's
Yeah,
funny.
definitely. Yeah, thank you, Ray. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The mind is such a complicated thing. It's so powerful that the mind actually, especially our egos or the false self, will always, we think that the real self is what it is, but in actual fact, the false self is driving of who we are. No longer the true self of who we are, the true self of kindness, loving, confidence, and so forth. That's why everything you stated here, what's driving you there is no longer your true self. This is being driven by your false self. This is not you. This is now being driven by your false self. Your true self is the opposite of this. Your true self is this. To follow your own plan, there's discipline in there, confidence to follow the plan, the integrity to follow the plan that causes the trust in oneself, hence that confidence. Following the schedule. To get up early in the morning takes discipline.
Yeah.
No, not creating any form of excuses. Here, you're creating a lot of excuses why not to. These are reasons why you're not entering the trade because of the ego of fear. That's what's stopping you to live the life that you want to live. That's where there's conflict. When you have conflict, you're not attracting the things that you want to attract in your life. because of these 60 to 70,000 thoughts, negative thoughts that's going into that you're thinking over and over again. Your goals, if your goals is simply freedom, free to spend time, free to travel, free of money, or to have anything that you want, the freedom. But in actual fact, how can you be free when you put in your own, when you created your own prison cell, right? So this is you. When I say you, us in general, we create our own
Yeah.
cell and we're living inside this box.
Yep.
So not until we get rid of these limiting beliefs, then guess what? This is where we can live the freedom life, because now notice there's no limitation. You can see things clearly, and you're focusing in terms of your focus, and you can see things clear on the way how you want it to be. Yeah, powerful
Yep.
stuff right there, right? See, these things happens. Look at this. Only 2 people shows up where the class, in my opinion, this is the most important part in the whole
Week.
trading arena.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, once a week, I teach a class at FX Street, actually. Um, and FX Street is a 20-year company, and they mainly deal with Forex. How many showed up this morning? Only one. Why? Because mindset or trading psychology is not as important as they see. They don't see the value of how simply one's mindset basically operates. Um, People believe that, I mean, I've been there too. We think that it's a system, that you have the most perfect system. That's not the key to making money. I don't think so. Because even if you have the most perfect system, but you don't have the mechanics to know, and you'll still miss opportunities even though you have a most perfect system, right? It's the self-awareness is the most important part. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that today.
Yep.
My
I agree.
recommendation and suggestion is to keep on meditating, find and trust the subconscious. Where is that fear of success coming from? I believe, Perry, we've discussed this. There's, where it is. It's just mind, like knowing to forgive actually that event, forgive yourself. Fear of losing is the same. Once you find that out, and the solution or the next step after you or so where it's coming from, and then the next step is simply um, is to forgive yourself, because at the end of the day it's just a narrative, it's just a story, it's not true. And then you forgive yourself. If you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others. Forgive the main source of where it caused you to have that fear. Yes, by nature, fear is an important element because it protects you. It protects your mechanism. It protects you from danger. That's the purpose of fear, not the purpose of losing, not the purpose of success, right? It is the purpose to protect you from danger. That's the intuitive process of fear. There's a big difference. But your also intuition is also gives you the ability to get out when it's time to get out. So like right now, price at supply, what strategy can we implement from this strategy? If we're up 27 pips and the entry point is at 118 flat, 118.05, so between 22 to 25 pips, and if we're in a profit and it's not moving any longer, it's there, and you have a lower high, then what would be the strategy to be implemented? And then this is where we practice abundance. This is where we practice success. This is where practice, the main purpose of trading is to make money. And then through there, if you need to know more, okay, well, this is there, and you're also seeing this. This is not pure objectivity. What is the probability that you go to 1920? That's a lot of force there to the downside based on the 4 hours. Based on the daily, yes, there's still that higher highs. We have that higher low. It can go all the way there. So if you want to take your money now, take a portion of the money and let some behind, that if you come back down, then you can re-enter. So those are different things that we could implement. Weekly time frame says there is now a change of trend from a downtrend to now a continuation of the uptrend from this impulse. So if you choose to hold it, then your stop loss will be at 1617. So if you're willing to lose 200 pips to the downside, then leave that trade, because there's a potential gain beyond 120 to 126 all the way to the top right here, 124, 126. But that will take time in order to get there. But if you're playing in terms of your intent, that's where the intention creates that focus. What is the intention? To make quick money, or for longer term purpose where you don't have the time because you're busy at work, so you're leaving the trade where you're also accepting a bigger loss to have a bigger gain. Those are the intentions, right? So if you once you know the intention, you know the purpose of it, all these things, these are just all reasonings why we're not getting to those trades. Because once you find that source, if the solution is to forgive yourself, and then is the theory, or no longer the theory, but to practice mindfulness. Or self-awareness. And with the same event happens again, you know exactly what to do, and you just follow those steps based on the new plan that you have created for you, so you can accomplish the goal to have the performance, the peak performance that you basically want. Cool. Any questions, queries, challenges, anything you want to share?
I'm good, very good, and thank you very much. This is very good, Pri. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm good too.
Perfect. All right. So we'll stop there. Basically, we'll wrap up this, and we're going to go through looking at the potential trades from there. Okay. So let's go through here then. So this is now where we need to have a look at this. Weekly time frame says you have an entry to go long. Daily time frame says it is an equilibrium, which is also at supply here, but it's an equilibrium from this high to that low. So this correction from that impulse, it's in halfway point. There are no other more reports. Smaller term time frame, on the other hand, is showing signs of stability from this supply, which makes sense. And if we go through a 1 hourly time frame, it is definitely showing there that supply level right there. So if you have this trade, what would you want to do? Would you hold the trade? Will you close all of the positions? Will you close some of the positions and then put the stop loss above breaking even, because it's now a zero risk free trade, and that if it will come back down to correct in terms of its demand around 1810, then you will re-enter for a bigger time frame saying to be bullish. Or that if you choose to close everything right now, being Friday, and then if it comes back to demand, you buy back in again. Every time it goes to supply, you sell. Every time it comes back to demand, you buy back, because you know that a bigger time frame is more bullish than bearish. All right, so I'll give you guys a couple of minutes just to think in terms of the strategy or what you want to implement based on this. Okay.
Yeah. As far as myself is concerned, I wanted to close the trade and then wait for the price to come back to the demand, so that yeah,
Okay, then I will give you that opportunity to do that right now. And then how about yourself, Perry?
Um, if I have it set up that if it definitely creates that lower high or whatever, yeah, it'd be a higher high, I guess. On the 4 hour, I was going to take 90% of it and leave 10 in there.
Okay. Lower high. Okay, so that lower high currently, well, we have 15 minutes before this finishes.
Mm-hmm.
This lower high will happen if this closes like this. If it goes beyond 118.34, then a new higher high will occur. But if not, what will you do? You will close 90% of it. Is that the plan?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, no worries. So you
Being
have
it's Friday, I would maybe hang in there longer if it wouldn't be Friday, but being it's Friday, why?
got it. Okay, gotcha. Nice. All right, let's look at then the S&P 500 here. Looking at the weekly. Weekly is very strong. Uh, Finishing though at supply level, not quite of a gravestone doji, but you can see from a sell position, well, it's not really a good sell signal anyway because you have a higher high through there based on the weekly. Last week was an opportunity to sell, about better sell because of that lower high, but because now it created a higher low and now it's above the 8 of the 10, that buy is a continuation still from a month ago. So currently, it's still very bullish. Nothing dictating this to fail at this point. Potentially, I mean, it could easily come back down here as a form of correction down to 34 before they can continue, but we'll see when that happens. Daily time frame, on the other hand, created a lower high yesterday, and now it's forming a higher low. So still very strong. Nothing dictating this is gonna fail. In actual fact, that higher low takes precedence, so it could potentially continue to retest the high of this one right there. The volatility index, same, created a higher low, but there's also a level of demand. It's gave back everything from there. There's touch date at the 10, or mainly from here, the 8, and came back down. So there's still some uncertainty here too. But as but if that higher low is protecting itself, then it can go all the way to 28, 30. So we'll see when that happens because of that higher high, higher low. You have that lower low on the other hand. So that minor or that major at one point is now a minor. This is now the major based on this demand on this area right there. Dow Jones, same thing. Higher lows taking precedence based on that lower high. Dollar index. Okay, so we have this situation here. You have a little mini evening star right there, touching the 8 to 10, lower low. Based on the daily time frame here, what is your forecast? To the upside or to the downside? Let's start from you, Perry.
Uh, I'm going to go down.
Okay, so you're bearish, Bala.
Looking at the chart, uh, short term and medium term down, and then long term up.
Okay, got it. Same. I am also bearish with this. However, I'm also being aware that this demand plays also a very big role. It's supporting itself. It's also supporting itself with this trend line right here. Um, Hence, that's why, to be honest with you, I'm closing 90%. I started closing 90% of the euro against the US dollar trade because, as part of it, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, this can also go, all the way to the upside. Here can rebound up there. Currently, it's a demand. So I'll wait until it will choose to break, and then further, it can go all the way down here if it chooses to. But right now it's a stalemate for me because to hold and then level demand can also part of that rebound. Mind you, the market's also very strong. There could also be more continuation. This will also continue to drop. So that's where there's all those signs right there. So anything can basically happen. Part of, and if you're dealing out here with uncertainty, there's no clear cut. This is why I'm just taking profits as I go along now with this. If I look at in terms of the weekly, on the other hand, weekly is still bearish, of course. So there is a sell signal today. There's a buy, there's a sell, but the sell from a level of demand either is not good for me because it's a low probability. Because part of it is that you never sell at the level of demand either. If the sell was more something like this, where it was coming from a major supply, then definitely. But when something's way exhausted, um, it is pretty much, and you see here that primary, secondary, and it's touching this. That is a very strong demand level. So hence, that's why I'm also being cautious at this point with the dollar. Gold, I mean, oil, same. So there was an entry to go short at the level of demand that causes also a lot of the uncertainty. What if also if this is also a fake out? Maybe it is a fake out that this is will continue to drop as well with Texas oil. But looking at it, right, 1, 2, 3, the odds and probability that this is going to go to the upside is more than likely. That's why, I closed my dollar CAD as well. If you look at the dollar CAD right here, 1, 2, 3, it's saying to go long at this point based on a method 3, but you have a lower low right there. So after 4 days, I believe it's also starting to get overbought. I would rather wait until create a proper higher low and then go back in to buy. Right now, being on a downtrend, it is also dangerous to keep holding. In my opinion, to keep holding the price to go even further beyond 132. It is already at supply right at this point in time. So this holds true with crude oil. 1, 2, 3 could potentially continue to go to the upside, and it's also very bullish at this point. Correction, it could potentially break 45, but we'll see. But if not, if you have a bearish candle through here next week, then that M3 still basically holds. This is why next week is a critical week. Gold, overall, is actually bearish. It didn't want to go. If it closed above, or if it closes above 1901 today, then you'll have an entry to go long. 1910 actually. 1910, 1915. Then there's opportunity to go long, but right at this point in time, it's still the sell from this point. And you have 2 bearish candles right there, adds in probability that you can continue to drop is more than likely. But if it's holding this uptrend line, then this is going to be bullish. But isn't it interesting? 1, 2, 3, 4. After that 4, touched 8 and 10. And I am bearish with gold, and hence I believe there's another opportunity of selling the Aussie US dollar when it approaches around close to 73, somewhere there, some form of stability around this price point. Because mind you, there's no lower high here. That's your minor lower high. Perhaps somewhere there will create a lower high somewhere. I don't know, but which one's which. But still on a downtrend as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see when that happens. Copper, different bell game, stability, continuation, lower high. 320, we'll see when that actually happens as well. A potential evening star next week. And if you see a bearish candle through there, and then you have a lower high, then I will be bearish all the way down to 2A. The yield is currently, I mean, it started with a big gap, and filling that gap, breaking out. It's still basically bullish from this point of view, but it's just filling that gap. And you have the stability point of view through there, and it can continue. I'm still also bullish with that. So that's why the dollar index is currently lagging at this point. All right. So
Nada?
yes.
I got to run and open some doors. They didn't show up this morning with some stuff I need. It might be 15 minutes before I'll be back in the house. So sorry.
No problem. No
Okay.
worries. Just text me, Perry.
Yeah, I'll text you when I'm back in. Okay.
Okay. Not a problem.
Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. All right, let's look at the pound. Pound against the US dollar is bullish through there through Brexit news. Weekly, there is an entry to go long, but it's too far away from the 8 to 10, 129.85. There's like a 200 pip, 130. There's a 200 pip difference through there, so I'd rather wait. But definitely, bulls are currently in effect. Kiwi, same thing, very bullish. It could continue all the way down, but it's also at a level supply through here. So I'm also being aware with that. Better for the price to wait. They almost touched it. So this might be a good one all the way back to 69. Once again, 60 pips. Dollar CAD, I am basically out with that. Currently at supply. Weekly. Yes, it is still very bullish, but there's an entry to sell. Better price point probably of actually selling. Ooh, based on an M1, I might do a test trade to sell with this. Dollar Swiss still be above the 8 to 10, lower high still taking precedence. It's taking its time, but you have that very bullish candle. So there's no, I think this is where actually, what is the closing price here? 91.31.7, 31.7 is above the 10, above the 10, but not the 8. So if it finishes like this, there's a potential continuation of the price to the upside. This now makes sense where the dollar index could potentially also go back up because the dollar Swiss also follows it. So dollar yen. Currently now bullish. There's an opportunity for buying. Looking here, finally touched it, the 8 and 10. So once it stabilizes itself, I'm looking to go long with the dollar yen when the time comes. So for now, that's basically it there. Bal, do you have any questions?
The USD Swiss franc. So, oh, sorry, not the USD, I mean USD CAD, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now in M2, and then we see it can go up to 1.33 at least, based on the current. So why we are bearish here? Right?
Because your weekly time frame, see how it's very bearish. You have an entry to sell at a very good price at this point, and you see at that lower low.
Okay.
Yeah, and lower high will take precedence, right?
Okay, got it.
There could also be an opportunity, and that's the thing about trading, is that it could continue to go to the upside. But the climate actually is saying here selling pressure is coming. And you have that reversal through there from bullish to bearish. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. So that's good opportunity actually, maybe like a test trade for selling as an M1 first. But definitely buying is not in terms of if you're a buyer or seller. I want to be a seller at this point because of the trend.
Yep.
Yes, we need a nice higher low here and then to go back in to go long. All right, great. Enjoy your weekend, Bala, and congratulations. Well done for making an effort, like in terms of coming to the classes and putting in trades, which is good.
Yep. Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Bala.
Thank you.
Have
Bye.
a good one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.